Nearly 50% of Republicans believe that civil war is around the corner, as a YouGov survey for George Washington University revealed that many Americans believe there will be a time where patriotic Americans will have to take the law into their own hands. And the most shocking part, 9% of Democrats came to the same conclusion. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today on the internet, we're going to talk about this shocking survey saying that Americans are basically saying that civil war is soon around the corner, while at the same time, the eviction moratorium has expired, which will lead to millions of Americans becoming homeless. My friends, this is exactly how conflict happens. When a bunch of people lose their homes and end up out on the street, that is when you get major civil unrest. So we need to talk about this, folks. We need to break it down. And I'm going to show you the shocking data that has come out. But before we do, remember to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for updates for future content, and share this video with your family and friends. Sharing the video is the best thing you can do to combat the big tech censorship and suppression. I also want to ask people to check out my Patreon and Subscribestar pages. Anyone who joins will get access to a private Discord server called Fight Club. It's members only, so check out the links down below. Alright, let's jump right into this, folks. Here on the Washington Post, the National Eviction Moratorium is set to expire. Here's what that means for Maryland and Virginia. So the Biden administration is currently being criticized by many for their massive failure to stop the eviction moratorium from expiring. You see, back when the COVID-19 pandemic broke out, many politicians decided to shut down the economy. Many places were put on lockdown, a lot of people lost their jobs, and because of that, a lot of people could no longer afford rent or their mortgage payments. In order to combat this, the CDC mandated an eviction moratorium, which effectively banned landlords and banks from foreclosing on homes and for evicting people from their apartments. However, this has just ended. The eviction moratorium expired on July 31st. That is today. But regardless of when you're watching this, this is extremely important, because how do you get civil unrest? How do you get a civil war? Well, could it be perhaps evicting millions of people and foreclosing on millions of people's homes? Let's check out the story, folks, because they really spell it out here. The story begins. All that will remain for the estimated 6.5 million tenants on the edge of eviction nationwide will be a patchwork safety net of state laws and emergency executive orders. Not enough housing, advocates warn, to stop the flood of coming evictions that will hit the country next month as coronavirus cases spike due to the Delta variant. Now, there's a lot to be said about this moratorium. Of course, there was many people who simply stopped paying rent. Plenty of people who abused the moratorium as a way to basically screw over landlords and keep all their money. There's people who never lost their job who simply stopped paying rent. So I kind of see both sides of this issue. Landlords are pissed off that nobody's paying their rent even though they have the ability to pay, and tenants are pissed off because many of them lost their jobs and simply do not have the money. But what happens when you put millions of Americans out on the street? Ah, yes, civil war. But I want to bring you over to the YouGov survey. Here on the Daily Mail, it says, the YouGov survey for George Washington University found that 47 of Republicans surveyed agreed with the statement that there will be a time coming when patriotic Americans will have to take the law into their own hands. Just 9% of Democrats agreed with the same conclusion, in a shocking difference of opinion on partisan political influence on laws in the United States. The story continues. More than half of Republicans, 55%, also supported the use of force to preserve the traditional American way of life. Just 15% of Democrats to preserve the nation's values. Now, I find that very interesting. If 15% of Democrats support the use of force to preserve the nation's values, that kind of implies that 85% of Democrats would support the use of force to destroy the nation's values. And this is why I find the Democrats so scary. They don't like America. And I don't understand, like, if you don't like America, just leave. Go somewhere else. If you want socialism, if you want Marxism, go to Cuba. Go live in China. Go live in your communist utopia. The survey noted that Democrats and Republicans agreed equally on topics such as free and fair elections, free speech, and peaceful protest. Free speech, my ass! Yeah, there's no way that Democrats actually care about free speech. That's a load of baloney. Those results are also startling, considering members of both sides of the aisle have defended violent actions from those with whom they agree. Now, this is the scary part, folks. You increasingly have people on both sides of the political spectrum who say that they don't care if their side does something like uses force. We'll just put it that way. Uses force and authority to get their way. And you can really see this from the Democrats, where many of these Antifa and BLM people are going around rampaging in cities, burning down buildings, stealing, looting, and hurting people to push their agenda. Oh, the Democrats loved it. They loved it when BLM and Antifa went on riots. They don't care about people who got hurt. It's all about winning that vote, am I right? Disgusting. Now they have a really good comment here. Danny Hayes, a George Washington University political science professor who co-directed the poll, says he worries that American voters have reached a point where they only trust the electoral system when their side wins. Now, I actually agree that this is a really good point, but I actually disagree as well. I don't trust the results now, no matter who wins. As a libertarian, I have seen that the American electoral process is deeply flawed, deeply corrupt, and deeply broken. And I'll tell you why. Lack of transparency. The fact of the matter is, we don't know what happened in all of these swing states. The audits are attempting to figure out what happened. Meanwhile, the Democrats are shutting down every audit and trying to suppress the results. There is no transparency. I don't trust any election, period. I don't care if a Republican wins. I don't care if a Democrat wins. Show me those voter rolls, baby. Show me an audit. We should audit every single election. That way, nobody would question the results because they could see it all right there. Why do we not have transparent elections? Nobody can answer this question. Denny Hayes says, quote, most of the state and local officials who run our elections are longtime public servants whose goal is simply to help our democracy operate smoothly, Hayes said. So this is the most hilarious thing I've heard in a while. No. Most of our politicians are sociopaths. Yeah, they just want power, they just want money, and they just want your vote, and they don't care what they have to do to get it. That's the problem. Now, I want to finish off this story by talking a little bit about the White House and Pelosi and Democrats and COVID-19. You know, COVID-19 is the whole reason that we're in this mess. They're the whole reason that the Eviction Moratorium was put out by the CDC. They're the whole reason that the economy got locked down and people lost their jobs. Here on the Daily Mail, Pelosi and the White House blame Republicans for fueling the spread of COVID, but fewer than half of young people and 36% of black people have had the shots, while 92% of older Americans are jabbed. First of all, stop saying jab, stop calling it jabbed, that is cringe. Shut up. Shut it, please. And also, there's many Democrats who are not getting the shot too, but it's really annoying that, Nancy Pelosi and Biden are going around, oh, it's those Republicans' faults, they won't get the vaccine. Shut up. Just shut your mouth. Shut it. Here it says, data from sources including the government's own Centers for Disease Control shows that young people as well as Black and Hispanic Americans are among the largest groups who are hesitant to get the COVID vaccine. The CDC reports that young Americans between 18 and 24 are among the most hesitant groups. They account for 9.2% of the U.S. population, but only 8% of the vaccinated population. And, it goes on to show a bunch of data. Now, most importantly, one of the key voting demographics for Democrats is young people. Those young people are not getting the vaccine. So to say that it's just Republicans is absolute nonsense. But we also have data from the CDC saying that even if you have the vaccine, Delta variant can still infect you, it can still spread, you can still have a high viral load, and we now have data that suggests that the vaccine is actually promoting the virus to evolve and grow stronger, because now only the vaccine-resistant viruses are the ones spreading. It's kind of like antibiotic soap. This whole thing is a dumpster fire. So no wonder people are thinking about civil war. We've lost control. Biden and the Democrats, they're talking about another lockdown. Are you kidding me? The economy is not going to survive another lockdown. We are in the end game now, folks. Everything is going crazy. And you know what? You better prepare. Get your safety gear. Get your supplies. Stuff's going to get real, folks. It's going to get real fast. But that, my friends, is merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? Let me know down below in the comment section. As always, support the channel by joining me on Patreon or Subscribestar. Currently, this channel is not monetized. It relies on viewers like you. If you want to donate, check out my donor box link or send me crypto. Links and addresses are down below. Anyhow, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.